You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com, the ChrisVossShow.com. Hey, welcome to the big show, guys. We certainly appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in again. Who knew we'd do another show after 13 years? You know, after 13 years, we're like, I don't know, should we do another show? It seems like, we've been doing it for a while. So, like, I don't know, maybe do another. We'll do one more. So here we are, folks. That seems to be everything we say about 10 episodes a week, just like a radio show, folks. And as always, we want to remind you to show some love to your friends and relatives. I mean, don't exclude them. Do you know, early on, my girlfriend did invite me to the Chris Voss Show to listen into the great broadcast that was on in here, and I felt like she was holding out on me. That really didn't happen. I'm just making up that story. But don't hold out on your friends and family. You'll be guilted forever, and they'll be like, did they really love me since they never referred me to listen to the Chris Voss Show podcast? Oh, I just made that up. That's awesome. I got to keep that one in the can. Anyway, guys, so you know the drill. YouTube.com/Chris Voss, Goodreads.com/Chris Voss, the big LinkedIn group, 130,000 people, the LinkedIn newsletter, and all that stuff we're doing over there, and TikTok as well. Also, watch for our coverage. We'll have coverage of CES 2023. Oh my God, what the hell? We're 2023 already. I'm still in 2020. Or 1986, one of those two. So watch for continuing coverage on that. We'll have Gary Shapiro, my good friend of many years. He makes an annual appearance on the show, I think out of guilt now, because we make him do it every year. But he'll be on the show next week talking about CES and CS show and CTA and all that stuff. It's going to be crazy. He was just recently hanging out with Macron. He's got like some big Sir Knight Award from the French and French President Macron, and he was at the White House hanging out with things. So we'll ask him how the bread is at the White House. I don't know what that means. I'm just making up shit. Or how the soup is. The bread and soup, one of the two. Anyway, guys, we are going to be talking about more tech space today. We're talking to a CEO who has an amazing venture he's doing. We're going to be talking about VR, NFTs, and some of the things they're doing to help veterans and other people, especially those who are suffering from damage from war and military and all that sort of stuff that they go through. PTSD. I'm suffering some sort of brain damage. Of course, I didn't serve our country, sadly, but probably just from banging my head on the mic or something. I don't know. So today we're going to be talking. It's Friday, folks. Today, we're going to be talking about wonderful things. We have Robert Bell on the show. He is an entrepreneur, investor, and philanthropist who founded 2B3D Incorporated. We'll be talking to him today about all these things I've been teasing out to you. In 2020, he started it as an all-in-one gaming studio, non-fungible token mint, auction. I'm hungry now. I'm thinking mint they leave on the pill. Auction house and storage system. Bell's mission was to push the bounds of virtual, augmented, and mixed reality technologies as a way to help military veterans suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. His mission is to bring peace and healing to veterans, is fueled by playing to earn games, utility NFTs, and access to exclusive in-game cryptocurrency within a wide decentralized metaverse. Bell is also the founder and CEO of Bell Medical Solutions. Welcome to the show, Robert. How are you?
Chris, I'm doing amazing. What a great entrance to your show. I love that.
Yeah, we do a different ramble every time. I've got different. One of my New York Times friends is like, I just listen to the ramble on the show to see what you say every time because you just make it up.
Yeah, I love it. I was listening to a few of your shows last night and today, and great entrance. I love it.
I mean, sometimes it kills, sometimes it dies, and sometimes that's what makes it kill. So sometimes it's funny, and then other times it's like, that's so stupid, it's kind of funny. So I don't know. They seem to like it. I don't know.
Well, I like it.
Thank you for coming on the show. Give us your .com so people can find you on those interwebages in the sky.
Yes, we are at 2b3d.com, and it's the number 2, the letter B, the number 3, the letter D. So just the four digits.com. You can think of it as to be or not to be, three-dimensional. 2B3D.
Yeah, or like R2D2, so 2B3D. I think it's the brother or sister of R2D2. No, I'm just doing comedy. So welcome to the show. Give us a little bit of background on you, a history, like what got you into the space. What was your journey? Did you grow up in a poor country and were afflicted with some sort of disease? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you've told it all. So now what do I got? I got nothing left. No. Yeah, a little bit of history. First and foremost, after reading my bio, yes, all those things are true, but it was also with a co-founder, Andrew Barnes. Oh. And Andrew Barnes, little history on the 2B3D, go back to 96. And he wanted to build this out, right? This is what he wanted to build, was a three-dimensional metaverse that just didn't exist yet, right? So he actually bought that 2B3D, but he can still buy 4letter.coms, and he's held it this entire time.
Holy crap.
So a little history on that. For me, I started off surf, skate, snowboard, everything, board sport under my feet. That's the kid I was. Ended up, my mom is a 2-time world champion pool player. She's in the Hall of Fame for winning pool.
Wow.
And so she travels the world. She's doing all this stuff back when I was in that age bracket, and I was into surfing, and she connected me with, pool and gambling kind of went hand in hand back in the day. So big casino owner guy out at offshore gambling, set me up and, flew me out to Venezuela, put me in a palace on the beach, worked for his company. And I was there for about 1.5 years. And I'd probably still be there. But Janet Reno came into play, and her big issue at this time was to end offshore gambling. So I ended up coming back home for a minute while they figure it out. And during that time, I found out that I was having my first child. So then the brain switched. Oh no, what do I do? Going to be a dad. So somehow found my way into car sales. And, I don't know, started reading books, Anthony Robbins, Tony Robbins seminars, and became the best salesman at that. Got drafted by a medical group, and the medical group had a bunch of locations, and I became top salesman there and decided that I could do something different and better with it. So I created Bell Medical Solutions, and my wife and I, we actually, in the middle of all this, there was a break where we started a mortgage company in the wonderful year of 2008.
No,
it was like literally opened 3 doors before the bank started imploding. But so I jumped back in quickly, and we took it from there, and we did Bell Medical. And so back to the Andy Bjornson, co-founder. My brother was super into, I got him into cryptocurrency. Blockchain has just fascinated me for the last decade, right? So I'm super into it. So I get him into it. He hits a couple home runs, and he jumps into NFTs. And this is before NFTs where nobody knew. I actually Googled went to Amazon, Googled everything, looking for a book to explain what NFTs were. There was not a book yet. 6 months later, I Googled it, and I got a book from Amazon, and it was actually somebody's report. It was just a report on NFTs and what they were. And it started with, if you don't know what an NFT is, I didn't either until about 3 hours ago when I started writing this report, right? So it's just like super new. But CryptoPunks were a couple $1,000s that are now for millions, right? And I just couldn't believe that people were spending at the time $5,000, and the only way to do it was to say, hey, look what I got on my phone, right?
Yeah.
So Andrew Bjornson, who owned he had owned 5150, which was the #1 snowboarding company back in the day. We just had so much fun during those times. All that you said SES thing. I'm going to be at that, by the way. But all the trade shows, we had such a blast going to these trade shows and just building it up. But he ended up wanting that 2b3d.com. So he sold that company and went to San Francisco, graduated top of the class, 3D gaming. Comes back and somewhere in between getting his master's degree, going back and getting his master's degree in Web3 gaming and 2 bachelors, he joined the Army. And so this brings into a large portion of where we're heading with this, right? So there's one article that went out that said this all started blood-soaked sand in Afghanistan, right? But it's a cool article. I'll have to send it to you. But anyway, so he comes back. Now he's got this talent, right? He can create this stuff, and I've got this want. I want to be able to do something better for NFTs because I see it as being a potential catch-up. It's going to catch on, right? Which it did, obviously. But So my theory was if he could build a VR room where I could put my NFTs on the wall, then I could invite my mom, my brother over, and you could walk around and look at, the NFTs. It'd just be a better, funner experience, right?
Yeah.
Well, while Andy was away at the Army, he got the job of combat medic, and while there, they went under attack. So while the bombs were blowing up, the bullets were flying, people were dying, he didn't run. He saved lives. Right during this. So he ended up earning the Combat Medic Badge Award.
Oh, wow.
And yes, it's a great medal, but he also came back with PTSD. Right. I had no idea what PTSD was. I know it's in the 80s. They just finally named it or whatever. And all these other war heroes and stuff that have had PTSD, I would have just thought you're a jerk. Right. Because why are you so mean? Why are you so angry? Why are you so, like whatever. It's just, but knowing him previously and knowing him now, I knew that there was just something clearly was different. Right. Yeah. So anyways, moral of the story for him, he's going to go to see a doctor's appointment. You wait a month, the VA sets this up. You go there for 30 days, show up, and the doctor's not going to come in today. Sorry, we'll schedule for another 60 days out. You're telling that to somebody that's got PTSD and is there for help, right? So it doesn't go well. So we talk like, what if this could be a VR room where a therapy could happen? Right.
There you go.
So then it was like, oh, so what are we doing? We're building an auction house. We're building a VR therapy room. It's like this. Could we do it? Right. The tech seems to be here. We wanted it to be lifelike and real. And so, we just started playing with that. Right. And started making sense. And we started building it out. Along the way, we partnered with, they saw in the Forbes magazine. We found that there's certain things out there that can help with PTSD, but it might cost you $50,000 to go and get it done. Right. All the visits, all the everything, whatever that is. And we were like, well, what if we duplicate it, preload it in a headset, and then gamify it and make it fun? Right. So all these things just started coming together, and that's kind of how 2B3D started off. But the core of the company is we're a Web3 gaming company. So everything we're doing has to be fun. It's not going to just be like, oh, I'm going to go to my therapy. Right. So some of the exciting stuff that I wanted to talk about today, like what we're doing is we're building these hospital type situations. Right. We're building this stuff that's going to help with therapy, building these games, but we're also building I don't know if you've been to SES recently or an NFT or a crypto convention recently, but it's unbelievable what's being created right now on the blockchain.
Yeah.
It's like everything's in beta, everything's this, but it's just absolutely unbelievable. So we're pulling things in and we're testing things and currently right now we're I don't know if I'm even supposed to say this, but we're basically we're creating the atmosphere around the hospital, and we're doing it in a way that is just blowing my mind. It must be like every other hour I call my my partner and just say, hey, can you send me a picture of what you just did? Right. We're recreating a space that I'm very comfortable with, and we're adding games that are my favorite types of games, but not just doing it. We're doing it in a way that it's better than it's ever been done before. So
that's awesome.
Our theory is if you can make it fun and they're already comfortable going and doing it, then it's going to be an easier transition to get the help that's needed. And, so anyways, that's kind of went on a tangent there.
That's awesome, man. That gives us a rundown of the whole thing. We need more support for our veterans and people who've come back with PTSD. We've had a lot of people that have come on the show talked about it. Presidential runner Jason Kander was on the show with his book Invisible Storm. And talked about PTSD, and he was in denial for a lot of years, and then finally he came to grips with it. Elliot Ackerman's been on a couple times, and Congressman Ruben Gallego, and we talked extensively about PTSD, what veterans are going for, and the sad state of the affairs that they have, and the high suicide rates of veterans as well is out of control, especially homeless vets. So the more support we can get for these men and women who put their lives on the line for our country, the better off we can be.
So that's basically this company, self-funded, little angel seed money, friends and family type raise, keeping it going. But really, this company's been running on compassion, right? It's a passion project with compassion. So as we started working together and meeting with more nonprofits and getting together, the numbers, when you put yourself in a sector, all of a sudden you start hearing things you didn't usually hear before, right? So like my combat medic friend had a combat medic that had taken his own life, and he told me that story, and it was like unbelievable, right? Well, a week later he tells me the same story, so I'm like, no, you already told me, and he's like, no, it's another one. 10 days later, another one. Now I'm looking at, 50 of these people. So I don't know if the numbers are roughly the accepted numbers, somewhere around the 40,000 veterans have taken their own lives since 9/11. It's
Wow.
It's an outrageous number. They say 22 a day, but only 6 states report. And you're not allowed. They can't say how you died when you're in the military for 2 years until after 2 years of it being done. So the numbers are higher than 22 a day, is what I'm being told by people that we've brought into this project. It's higher, but that's the accepted number, and it's ridiculous. So I remember I was in a meeting with like 30 people from the team on a Zoom call, and I just heard that 22 a day. And so I started writing down 22 times 10, 220 times 36 times 12. And then I just looked at everybody and I just lost my train of thought. And I'm like, you guys, this is way bigger than I thought this was. This is a huge deal. So we start doing some research, and, other people had ideas. Well, one thing that studies show is that if you can get to somebody within 5 minutes of them deciding, that's it, I'm taking my own life, it's a 90% success rate that you can stop them, right? So if you think about 40,000 people, if they would have just had some way to talk to somebody that wanted to help them within 5 minutes, right? So you call 911, the police officer shot, may shoot you. You know what I mean? You never know. There's all this. It's different. And that's why the whole gaming of it is so important, to make it fun so people are already comfortable. But what we found was, if we're making real environments, and you can just kind of imagine it, if you've got a gun on the table and you've got the pills on the table and you're ready to take your own life, right? If you can just put these goggles on, your state of mind changes immediately. Now you're in the mountains, right? Or now you're in this crisis room where we have 6 other individuals that are there waiting to just talk you down, right? Let's talk for a minute. Now, if the police need to come, you can take a few steps away from the gun. The police officers can see you're not holding the gun. It's no longer a threat, right? And we can talk it through. And, like other big VR companies and stuff like that, it's social media in general. They're designed to track you, right? We're the advertisement, right? Keep you on the phone, keep you all that. So we're because of my medical background, we know that if we're going to do anything like this, it has to be HIPAA compliant. You have to feel comfortable that you can go somewhere and you can talk to somebody privately, like the therapy room. So we've been building all this out from scratch, and we're making it that way. But that whole just boom, 5 minutes, 90% success rate. I mean, along with making games that can help, heal the brain or de-stress you, meditation type style stuff, where, build a beach where they can go on and hear the birds chirping. I mean, all of that stuff is really here. It just hasn't been built and put into use. And so we're, Compassion Project.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I love how you're giving back in that way and creating something in space. Because, it's hard to reach out to them. And I'm sure that there are veterans, all over this country. There's some that live very far away from the VA. And so it's hard to go out and, send services to them and help them. And this is the way they can call in over the internet, over a VR headset, and be able to maybe experience some help or get out of their environment. I know sometimes when people who commit suicide, you get stuck and trapped in your environment, and you're maybe depressed, you're seeing your home, all the stuff in your world, and it feels like the world's against you and all your troubles are piling up because you're looking at them all day long. And sometimes getting out of that prison you put yourself into mentally can help. So excuse me, on your guys' website, you guys have several different videos, different designs, homeroom designs you're working on, different space stations, all sorts of different stuff. Talk to us about some of the different designs you're putting up there.
Yeah, I mean, we're currently building out on the space station. That is our Metaverse. I mean, we have plans to go further than that, but one of the key factors that is coming into play, like I said, going to these conventions and seeing all the stuff that's out there, NFTs, for instance, if just to take a step back, like if you're going to go see a therapist, right, in VR or online, 3D, online like that, how do you get a prescription? How do you get an MRI prescription? How do you get if you need medicine, how do you get a prescription? And so we from the very beginning realized that we had to be able to bring that to the table, right? So NFTs, most people think of them as a CryptoPunk or a Bored Ape, but really they're digital property. So through my other medical group, what we'll be working on is making an NFT, a prescription will be an NFT from a trusted wallet, which will be owned by the doctor, to a trusted. And I've already got pharmacists and MRI facilities that are going to allow us to test this out and make it work. But you'll be able to go in, put it in, and get never have to leave your house, right? Because I mean, like you said, the prison that you're in your head, most people are so depressed that they don't want to leave their house, let alone go sit in a doctor's office for 45 minutes, right?
That's true.
So if
Or
we
in the
can help
waiting
people-
room.
Or the
I
waiting,
hate-
yeah, the waiting room for 45 with other people that are depressed, and who knows what's going on. So yeah, making it to where making healing fun and making it accessible. I mean, I've had other thoughts like, you know, a school shooting in a small town, 1,000 people affected, 2 therapists in the city, right? Now you pop on goggles and you're talking to a therapist from London. I mean, everybody can come to help and get in there and jump in. But so the space station, really, I mean, we're building it to be real. Right.
Mhm.
But where real stops and fantasy begins, we don't have to stop it real. Right. So we're
There you
building it to where you get in there. I'm looking at some pictures right now that are being designed behind this camera. And I'm looking at the picture of one thing in the you can't tell the difference, you know, other
Wow.
than the one that he's making is cleaner than the other one because there's like dirt on the but it's so real. So I mean, to be able to put yourself in there, but now you're walking and you know, surfing is a big thing for us, right? So surfing games have never really looked right. The waves are boxy, but the tech that's coming out is making things like so much more real. But when you're walking and you're doing these things and you've got, let's say 10,000 people are in this metaverse and you're all doing whatever you're doing, there's no reason why you can't have Roger Rabbit next to you. You know what I mean? Even though, but it'd still be real. So we're having a lot of fun with taking the real and then stretching the imagination. But if you look, I don't know, I think it is on the website, but if not, the space station has like a dome. And we're building that inside of that dome right now to just be something that's incredible. And, you know, there'll be live music. The stores, you can walk into stores and you'll actually be able to buy something and have it delivered to your house. I mean, it's just all intertwined. I mean, it really is, you know, I think the word metaverse and I think the word NFT, I think both of those are going to get a lot of tinge in this bear market. So we've actually renamed what ours is. I don't know. I'm not going to say what we called it yet, but it's going to be something different. But ultimately, it will be a place that you can go and have exactly what you would think a metaverse is, you know. But also, we're calling them unique digital collectibles, you know, instead of NFTs. So we're just kind of scrubbing the whole. I think that the NFT is not going to go anywhere, but the name will, right? It's going to because we need them. And anyway, so we're just building out the environment. We've got a lot of different teams on this. You know, we've got everything's like everybody, like I said, a compassion project. So I mean, we don't just have an author that's helping with the words. We have 2 award-winning authors, right? We have an Emmy award-winning producer that comes in for our podcast stuff, right? We got that we haven't released yet, but that we're working on. We got what do we got? We got master's degree Web3. So everybody's working on these little projects. We're tying them together. We've met so many great people. We partnered. Another big issue that's going on with the veterans and with actually the world, right? A $28 billion lawsuit was settled for the opioid addiction from Big Pharma. Yeah. That's going out to the country. Well, that's a lot of veterans that are suicidal or addicted to opioids, just like the rest of the population, right? So what can we do there? So we've recently partnered up with a company called BioCore RX, and they're out in Anaheim. And what they do is they have these courses and modules and things that you can do. So once the patient is, let's say, detoxed from it, there's this continued therapy. We're bringing that in the form of NFTs. So, I mean, you kind of think Netflix, but instead of receiving a CD in your mail like you used to, now it'll be an NFT, but it'll still be that module that you can just, you know, at home go through the course and do it. You know, so we're trying to tie it all in, you know.
And the NFTs help, or the collectible, whatever you ever end up calling it, will help go. Some of that goes towards veterans nonprofits.
Oh yeah, we're anything and everything we can possibly do to help. You know, we're partnering with everybody with donate this, donate that, and you know. So like I said, we're a for-profit company, but we don't plan to make a penny for another few years. You know what I mean? We've just been building and building and building, and so yeah, we do. We did do our own NFT drop where it's our pass 2B3D pass, right? So basically by owning it, it gets you access to beta, gets you access to, you know, things like that. It's really cool. It's got a lot of rarities and uniqueness and stuff like that, but portions of the profits going to other causes on a lot of the stuff that we're doing.
And then I see you guys have incorporated gaming. There's a game on here called So Many Gods. Are you guys developing that yourselves, or is that how's that work?
Yeah, so we're developing a couple games, right? As far as that's one of the basically the co-founder, he had won a big award at USC for a game that he had developed, and one of the things about it was the lore that goes behind it, all the writing, all the storytelling, all the everything just makes it so much more interesting. And that award-winning author helped write that. And so many gods is one of the themes where it's going to have a lot of lore behind it. It's going to explain like certain things throughout the game. I don't want to get too into it because it is not my baby, and I don't want to say something that might be too much. But just know it's really interesting, and it will make it fun, and it'll make it enjoyable.
There you go. So I love the concept of this, like you say, a compassion project where people can, we're doing something good for the community. It'd be great if there were more like hospital mental health services for everybody. Maybe instead of helping the people that if there was a shooter in the city and helping those people that survived, we could somehow get to that shooter beforehand with some medical, psychological help and get them stabilized through VR.
Yeah, I mean, with the tech is here, like I said, the thousands of metaverses, we're one that's taking a topic and we're just smashing it head on, right? Like this is something that needs to be fixed. This is the tech that can be used for this. So let's do it. When I said the 90% success rate for veteran suicide, if you can get to it within 5 minutes, that's across the board. That's teen suicide. That's, gay, lesbian community. I mean, anybody with high suicide. And like you said, anybody that's preemptively going to have a problem. I mean, all of this is just boom, put it on. So we're trying to build that platform where we are primarily veteran owned. Right. So we're starting with that flagship, and that's who we're helping and testing easier beta, all that good stuff. And it is passion, but we're building something that's going to be able to be used for quite a lot of different things. And good is our primary focus on that aspect.
And then I think is on the So Many Gods is I'm seeing some different screenshots on here and different talk about NFT systems. Is that all in the game, that particular single game?
Yeah,
or are there other games you're developing?
They're building a few different things at the same time, so I'm not 100% how they're going to go with that. But let's just put it this way: I saw the lore and everything that went into So Many Gods. It's like a 300-page document that like covers every single little thing down to how many paper cups we're going to need in order to, it's like super super in depth. But we are still building, so I just don't want to get too into any details on that game, just because I don't want to ruin it for the announcements that are coming out. But it's really cool. So hopefully soon.
Well, the metaverse is quite interesting, and people can read the white paper on you guys' website, explore some of the NFTs. The metaverse, it holds a lot of promise if they can find the applicable things, but definitely helping veterans is a really important thing. It's if any sort of mental health that we can. There's a lot of people need some mental health in this world, including me. Any way we can deliver that better, and especially when you can get out of your environment, out of your world, and teaching, learning anything. Just the metaverse is the oyster, basically, of what you can do, and it's going to be interesting to see what everyone develops here in the coming while. So you see more gaming, you see more things being developed for gaming. You got a looter shooter that's out there now. What are the things that we talked about that you guys are doing?
Well, going back to NFTs, I think you're going to see a major disruption in the gaming industry, and I think it's going to be a little bit of a battle. And I've heard it said before, but my son, for instance, right? He surfs competitively, 12 years old, like outdoorsy, just loves it. Surf skates, like I live vicariously through him now, right? I take him snowboarding just to video. I take him surfing, to video, and like I used to be better than you, but he's still a gamer. So this next generation that's coming up, they play games, right? They're in games, and how much money has any parent that's listening to this spent on their child getting a sword or a hat or a jacket or something, right? Everybody's paying all this money to upgrade their character and make themselves stronger and better, and so that's a model that works for the gaming company, right? But doesn't work for the parent. When that kid finally says to see something shiny that's new and goes like, "Ooh, I hate Roblox. Now I want to play this, right? I want to play World of War. Now I want to play Call of Duty. I want to play." All that money just goes in the trash. It's just done. You don't play the game anymore, right? So we're building in a way that every single thing you buy that kid or you buy yourself, because let's just be honest, that one of the reasons why we're doing the shooting game is because the Navy did 25 years of study on VR, and they said that this class of warriors that's what they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like some people were like, why are you doing the shooter? You know, it's what they do, right? They're playing games. They're playing World of Warcraft. They're playing, Halo. But moral of the story, when you outgrow it, or if you just don't like it, all of that stuff that you'd acquired throughout the time of playing that game can now go up for sale, and the guy behind you can go ahead and buy that gun if he wants that gun. So instead of making it something where you buy something, use it, and the gun belongs to you, the game's over, it's gone. We're NFTing everything, right? From prescriptions to, we're making it it's not a collectible piece of art, which they are, right? Obviously, great if you got the Bored Ape, but we're making a tangible, unique digital collectible that you can have, and when you own it, it works in the game, and when you don't own it, it doesn't work in the game, and you can sell to the next guy, and it works there. So there's a lot of intricate stuff that I think big gaming companies probably don't want to take over just yet. But I'm telling you, I've been to 7 conventions in the last 5 months, and had booths at them, and it's coming. It's coming for sure.
Yeah. I would like to be able to recover some of the money. I think I dropped $300 or $400 now on Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 2 launched. And I would love to be able to resell some of that shit I bought. Some of the guns I bought, I'm like, this is
right. I mean, I can't even tell you, like, well, just for example, my son, when he was like 6, we were driving up to Lake Havasu. It's a 4-hour drive, 5-hour drive. I gave him my phone, and when I got there, I was getting a call from the phone. He's like, "Yeah, did you mean to order $2,000 worth of?" He was a kid, and he just said, "I want it for 5 hours." He just kept buying and buying and buying and buying. So I mean, that's a bigger story, but yeah, I mean, how incredible! And what if you happen, think about it as a gaming company and as somebody that we appreciate the cryptocurrency, the blockchain technology. We appreciate it. Some things are rarer than other things. We're all that's put into this whole what we're building, right? So you just might happen to get that one particular thing that somebody really wants, right? And who's to say how much? So I'm not saying that they're going to be investments, but there's a certain coolness to knowing that when you buy something that you can also sell it later, as opposed to just buying it and then when you're bored with it, it's trash.
Well, they do that with Roblox. I'm not too familiar with that because I don't have kids.
If they do, I've never been told by my son that he can sell his stuff, but I honestly don't know. I'm going to ask him now after this interview, though.
I think isn't there something you can buy? I know there's something they buy on Roblox. I don't know.
Oh no, he buys. He buys lots of stuff. Yeah.
My nephew used to be into the magic stuff, and that's not online, but holy crap, some of the crap they sell on I guess Pokemon's the same way. But what was that? Is it Eververse? What's the name of that? Evertide. It was a game that's been around forever where there are people buying like $400,000 clubs on it and stuff, and you could buy ships.
World of Warcraft?
I think maybe you can do some of that on World of Warcraft. No, it's called like Eververse or Evening something. It's still around. A Second Life. I don't know, something like that. I don't know,
but I know that a couple of families have almost broken up over some spending on World of Warcraft. I've heard I've been in earshot of some of those arguments. Like,
I don't know. I might break up with myself after spending $300 or $400 on Call of Duty, and I don't know. But I'm having fun, so that's all.
Yeah, but I mean, once again, if you got sick of it, wouldn't it be nice to just be able to put that back up and just check your account once in a while?
It would be.
Somebody bought it.
A couple of the guns I bought, I was like, this gun sucks. Like I got sold down the river on this thing, but I don't know. You do what's fun, but it could be worse. I could be married and get divorced and then lose 50% of my stuff. That's the Maybe can you put those guns in the alimony child support? Never mind. I'm just
maybe, right? I mean, I'm sure they'll be. They're already trying to do loan and using NFTs as assets and all that stuff. So I'm sure it'll come to that eventually one day. But but the important part is that we knew early on we could have built all this stuff in like lesser, easier to build, but we've used a lot of beta stuff to build stuff. We're building for the future with full plans of this is how it's going to be. And it's just really cool to see that, there's certain things that we've developed or we've done that has now caught up and somebody else has done it, but we were so far ahead of it. So we're on to the next thing. So there's, I don't know. Once again, I keep going back to the trade shows, but you walk up to a booth and you see what these people are doing and you're just like, oh my gosh. And then we've made friends with them. So now we're incorporating it. It's like, there's all sorts of really cool stuff out there. There's a guy that I just met recently, it's kind of like he's the Fiverr for blockchain. So like any kind of little tool or
Oh,
something
wow.
you need to do this, they bring in the team and they did, and We First Metaversity, got to give a shout out to them. These guys, so when crypto was doing the bull run, Amazon's putting out ads, all these people are putting out ads saying, we need somebody that understands blockchain. They've developed a full university where the owner used to work with Fortune 500 companies and in a different aspect. But now what they do is they train, they do courses on anything Web3, right? So smart contracts, this, and as you graduate these courses, your name goes up on a job headhunting, whatever. But to me, it was always like, okay, if the world's going to explode with Web3 and all this technology, who's going to run it if nobody knows how to do it, right? So now these universities are popping up specifically for those tasks, and that's another really cool thing that I thought has spawned out in the last couple months that I've made friends with those guys.
There you go. And you guys have not an NFT. You guys have a Discord too, as well. I just found on here. It looks like about 603 members in there.
Yes. So our Discord is amazing. Actually, our link tree is what I should give you. If you got a second here, I can give that to you. Link anybody watching, if you follow us, everything, that would be amazing. Let me see here. 2B3D. I can put it in the chats or I can just say it. I don't. What would be best?
So go and go and say it for people on the air.
linktr.ee. So Linktree, but with a dot between the E's, /2B3D. And so whatever social media you're on, that'll give you access to everything, from Discord, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Anybody that wants to support us, we could really use any good words, kind words out there. And, we're on a mission. We're going into 3 years now. We've been working on this, and we don't slow down. We just pick up speed. We've been getting a lot of attention, and it's a lot of fun. And it's one of those projects that I wake up excited about and I go to bed still thinking about. You know what I mean? Because to me, it's not about, I have Bell Medical Solutions that's my baby. That's my business. That's how I make my money. Right. But this is where I start thinking, like, the sooner we get this done, the sooner we can stop 22 a day and maybe make it 19 a day or 18, or, there's so much at stake here, so it's just, I don't know. I just love this project. And the team is amazing.
And I like how you're building a Discord, because then you can have a community. And sometimes I don't know if PTSD can be helped by having a community, but I think it would be. People you can talk to, people you can reach out to, and then being able to play with people and game with things. It's a lot of these are men who end up suiciding, and men already have a high suicide rate over women, I think 3 to 4 times. And having a community of men where you can go do men's stuff together, that's one of the biggest problems we have in our world right now, is men don't have spaces where they can just go do men shit together. Like it used to be when I grew up, a bunch of us guys would go fishing, right? You just hang out with dudes all day and you're like, we'll go fishing, camping with the Boy Scouts and stuff. And a lot of that men's space isn't there anymore. And so for me and my men friends get together and, we do Call of Duty or Destiny or something like that. But we have our own Discord I built with, there's about 1,500 people in it. And, being able to kind of have that community for when you're depressed or when you're not feeling happy with life. You're like, hey man, I need to take a break from worrying about whatever, and be able to go in your community, find some friends to run with, and do that whole cavemanish tribe, let's go kill a woolly mammoth thing. That kind of connects you back to your manhood and kind of what you're after. And so communities are great for both men and women.
Yeah, and Discord is heavy in the Web3 community, for the NFTs and stuff like that. So we have to have it, and we're building it, and we definitely want to build that even more. To take that a step further with what you just said, though, the go fishing, the military is really good at training people, and they're really good at getting what they want, right? So what is one of the things that they need? They need you to be able to die for the guy next to you, or the guy next to you to die for you, right? So they've been able to create bonds with, and just out of basic training, you'll be brothers for life, right? Now you go into platoon, you go do all this stuff together, and so that's one of the biggest problems I see for me just thinking about it. I'm not a veteran personally. I'm like one of the only few that isn't on it. But when you come home and now you live in Boston, the other guy lives in Arkansas, you just go. And so I hear this isolation, this depression, and especially if you have PTSD and if somebody has PTSD, it's affecting the workplace, the family, it's not just the one person. If he takes his own life, it's a community problem too, right? I mean, all the people affected. But when they get this isolation, so I kind of, the Alcoholics Anonymous rooms, right? You've seen them on TV if you haven't gone yourself, right? So a lot of the people that go in there, they've been sober 20, 30 years, right? They go in these rooms and just like, why are they there? They don't need to quit drinking. They stopped a long time ago. But the reason is they're there to help the next guy, right? That's what's keeping them sober, is to help the next guy and to keep it going. So they go in and go like that. So my theory is with these crisis rooms, when somebody comes in, if they get saved, they're going to hopefully come back and be in there. And that community is where you can take all of those veterans that you had met, and you can meet every Thursday in our crisis room and hang out and play games and do stuff until somebody comes in, right? So that whole bringing them back together, that whole community, yes, in Discord is going to be amazing, but I have a feeling that if you can go to this one place, play whatever game you want to play until somebody comes in, and as a team you're going to help save this guy's life, I really think it's going to it's just going to snowball, and it's going to be magical. I can strongly feel that. But yeah,
I can totally agree with you. The hardest part is losing that brotherhood. Knowing that someone has your back. It's kind of a very caveman man tribal thing, but that's kind of how we're designed, biology. And I remember one of my friends was a sniper in the Iraq War, and he'd done 3 tours of duty, and he was really struggling at home. Like, he would just sit and play shooting games all day, and he's like, Chris, I really can't deal with this world that we live in. And he signed up to go for a 4th tour of duty in Iraq. And I'm like, you're really going back, man? It's, you're kind of rolling the dice the 4th time there. And he goes, Chris, you don't understand, man. When I'm there, I'm with my brothers. They got my back. We're protecting each other. And they find that that's not here. That brotherhood isn't here in that community, and having people on their back. But I love it as a man, where I can go, I've never been in the military, but one of my best friends is a military guy, retired from the Army, or no, he's in the Army, but I think he saw battle in Iraq. But being able to hang out with him, we go do stuff and shoot stuff, and it's very goal oriented. It's kind of like a goal and a mission. You're all working to kill the woolly mammoth, basically. That really helps people build self-esteem. And when you're thinking about a goal, we're gonna go kill this boss, or do whatever, you're not all sitting worrying about your problems and maybe what's going on in your head.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, and that's why the 3 main ingredients to 2B3D is fun, and fun, right? Mm-hmm. So everything we build, we don't build anything with like, oh, it has to be fun, it has to be driven like that, right? Where there's going to be the team has to go do this, and vice versa. When military veterans are gone, right? Well, who do they miss? Their family, right? So when they're gone, they can pop on the goggles and they can meet their family in the room. When they're at home, they can meet their team in the room. So this tech is here. It's here. It's just not being used. It's to my knowledge, right? So we're focused on it. So there's just so many good things. I mean, I'm constantly, there's probably 100 ideas that I won't even say on here that we're working on because I forgot, because we just keep coming up with so many great use cases, and we just keep playing with it. But
there you go. So what's the best way people can reach out to you, get to know better what you guys are doing, and get involved?
So 2b3d.com is our web address. Depends on what it is. Like I said, we are self-funded. So, we're probably going to do a Series A. So if there's anybody out there specializes in stuff like that, info@2b3d.com would be cool to hear from. Any nonprofits or anybody that we've got these NFTs that we can donate to nonprofits to raise money. There's so many different ways to help us and to get to know us. But I would say info@2b3d.com is a pretty good starting point, just to, reach out if there's something, question or anything like that. Otherwise, we have, other Discord is great. Twitter, I'm actually active on Twitter quite a bit. In Instagram, Facebook. But yeah, I would say just depending on what it is that you're looking to do. If you're looking, you're an influencer and you want to help spread the word, reach out whichever channel you're on Instagram, and we check the DMs and we'll reach back to you. But yeah, this is definitely a project that we could use everybody's help. If there's any, there's so many facets to it that, I don't even know what we're missing until we hear about it, so.
LinkedIn is great too. There's a lot of people talking
LinkedIn
about Metaverse and technology and VR, and you don't have to be thirst trapped to death over there like you are on Instagram. And, There's none of that toxic Twitter stuff going on. It's mostly business people talking about business, but lots of VR and stuff, especially if you dig for it. So it's been great to have you on the show. I'm glad you're doing this project, Robert, to care about our veterans, because I'm a big believer in that. I wish there was more we all could do. We need to take care of these people. We enjoy freedom every day because of these folks, and they put their life on their line. Like, I don't. I mean, I would have gotten rejected from the military anyway. Like, they'd be like, you got one bad eye, you're fat, you're old, and you're dumb, so we're not taking you.
Your own harshest critic.
That's just the comments I get on YouTube. Oh, yes, there you go. Which is half true, actually. They used to go on YouTube and they'd be like, you have fat fingers, because I wouldn't appear on my videos because I don't want to scare anybody off, and they would they'd be like, you have fat fingers, you must be fat, and you're like, wow, man, thanks Sherlock Holmes, I had no idea. Anyway, enough.
Harsh.
So thanks for coming on the show. We certainly appreciate it, Robert. Thanks to be honest for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, youtube.com/Chris Voss, all our places in the interwebs, linkedin.com/Chris Voss, and all the things we do over there. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you, Chris.